Assalamualaikum and hello there. You are tuning into special segment of Nightline with me, Nik Hasnur Erdina binti Hasnul Zakry, metric number 1202813. The headline: Factors that draw people to white-collar crime. Welcome back. White-collar crime has been described and classed in a variety of ways by criminologists and legal scholars. According to a well-known American criminologist, Edwin Sutherland, white-collar crime is distinguished by the fact that it is an economic crime done by a specific type of person, where usually a person of respectability and high social status is the cause of their employment. So, in this special segment, we will identifying and recommending the solutions and initiatives that the authorities can take to prevent this white-collar crime from occurring in our society.
Thank you, Erdina, from the studio. I am Rafiqah Rozeli, number metric 1202807, your reporter for today. I would like to report the statement of the problem white-collar crime issue that has been on the rise recently. First, the problem of this issue is the crime is seen to be damaging to the society as it is committed by people in power who are expected to set an example of good morals and act responsibly. For example, business and government professionals. For this kind of crime, there must be the discrimination against ordinary citizens who have no power or a lot of money. It can make people lose all their savings and ruin their families, which can eventually lead to suicide due to stress. In other cases, an organization can also go bankrupt and be ordered to close due to this criminal act. Thus, although white-collar crime is said to be a non-violent crime, it is still quite dangerous and cruel to the victims of this crime, as this crime has threatened the well-being of many individuals and organizations in society. Even worse, when it can also bring bad image and loss to our beloved country. That's all today's report. Back to the studio.
Next, let's take a look at the objective of this research. Firstly, to identify whether people have either willfully or accidentally committed a common white-collar crime. Secondly, to identify the causes of white-collar crime. And lastly, to recommend solutions to the problems of white-collar crime. While the research question for this research, are the people who committed white-collar crimes willfully or accidentally committed them? What are the causes of white-collar crime? And how to stop white-collar crimes in an organization?
Well, right now with us in the studio is an expert in white-collar crime, Ms. Rafiqah Rozeli, the Deputy Director of the Commercial Crime Investigation Department. Hi, Assalamualaikum, how are you?
Waalaikumsalam, I'm fine, thank you.
Well, Ms. Rafiqah, the issue of our discussion today is about the factor that causes a person to commit a white-collar crime. But before we go straight into the details about that, we want to know whether people who commit these white-collar crimes do it voluntarily or do they do it by accident?
Okay, first of all, we know that white-collar crime is a crime based on fraud, and usually the goal of the perpetrator is for financial gain. The question of whether these people do it voluntarily or by accident is quite difficult to answer. Some people said it is not possible to accidentally commit it, and some people said it is possible to commit it unintentionally. For those who are of the opinion that it is not possible to accidentally commit it, they are of the view that they will not commit it if there is no purpose. Someone who commits it, there must be a certain intended purpose that is usually for their own benefit. On the other hand, for those who think it is possible to unintentionally commit it, say that in the world of reality, those who commit white-collar crimes are indeed many. So it is possible for some people who end up committing crimes unintentionally or accidentally. This is based on the fact that not everyone is aware of this white-collar crime, so they may be deceived or unknowingly commit white-collar crime. Therefore, to answer the question of whether people who commit white-collar crime willfully or accidentally commit, I would say that it depends on one situation.
Okay, so based on your explanation, people who commit white-collar crime can be willfully or by accident. For people that commit by accident, we know that they might be not aware of this white-collar crime, so they may be deceived and unknowingly commit the white-collar crime. But for people who commit it willfully, what do you think that the causes that motivate them to commit the crime?
Okay, first, it may happen because of a lack of integrity. The term personal integrity refers to each person's unique code of ethics. It makes individuals differ in their tolerance for consciences and ethical actions. So for a person who lacks self-integrity, he will be motivated and tempted to do the crime when he sees the opportunities and space available for him to commit the crime. Second, situational pressures. People who commit white-collar crime are mostly people of respectability and high social status in the course of their employment, which means they are all well paid. But there are times that maybe their business is not going well and a lot of debt to be paid in a short time. So they might think white-collar crime is the best way to solve this problem because white-collar crime may appear to give an immediate benefit, but the individual may fail to consider the long-term consequences or risk of their solution. Finally, financial gain. Many scholars mention that finance is the main purpose of people committing white-collar crimes. As I said before, white-collar crime may seem to provide immediate benefits, but there are long-term consequences or risks that they will bear in the future. The worry is that when they do it once and succeed, they will continue to do it until they become greedy and selfish.
Okay, Ms. Rafiqah, we know that white-collar crimes are common in an organization. It's just that business adapt at concealing them to protect their brand's reputation and people's trust in their products and service. So what do you think is the best way to stop this white-collar crime in an organization?
One of the best ways to stop this white-collar crime in an organization is by applying personal due diligence practices. When you are applying personal due diligence practices, you can take precautions from the start to prevent white-collar crimes. To stop something, you need to do it from the root. Make ethical questions an essential part in the recruitment process, so the organization only employ individuals who understand corporate ethics. Then, any organization also can establish an anonymous hotline for whistleblowers. Basically, the whistleblowing system is a service that allows workers or third-party providers to report a white-collar crime or unethical behavior that happens in our organization to the authorities in secret. To ensure the effectiveness of this hotline, leadership must hold everyone accountable for any violations of regulations reported. Or the other way, organization also can practice internal audits. According to a study of Free and Murphy 2015, the incorrect perception of the frequency of fraud incidents throws a renewed challenge on management and internal audit to improve their fraud risk diagnostic tools. If a company is not audited, an organization might think that there is no fraud happening in their company because the people who commit it are concealing the fraud. It can only be known through an audit. So audits are important to trace the fraud that happens in our company and stop the fraud from continuing to happen.
Okay, actually there are lots more questions and answers that we want to share with the audience since time is running. Well, I think that's all for tonight's forum discussion. Thank you for your time, Ms. Rafiqah. Now, we all know that white-collar crime is obvious and must be stopped. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
In conclusion, white-collar crime is very dangerous and needs to be given serious attention by society. Immediate and effective measures need to be taken by law enforcement to curb the growing damage. This is because white-collar crime is a crime that affects in terms of financial loss directly, yet the side effects that will be borne by society and the public as a whole, such as injuries, illness, death, environmental pollution, and many more are very puzzling. Therefore, everyone must play their part together to prevent this white-collar crime from continuing to occur in our society. Back to the studio.
That's all for this special segment of Nightline. Thank you for watching.